Gentlemen, welcome back to the shop on this fine summer eventide. It is our chance to shine. It's oft been told to me that once a cucumber can take out the garbage, I'm out of a job. But we have a Black & Decker Pecker Wrecker mouse sander. It has all the countenance of a former medical device, what a handsome young doctor would use to cure ladies' histrionics. However, in this day and age, simply hasn't got enough chooch for that chotch. This would not rattle your fillings from downstairs. As such, cannot be used as a... In any case, she was telling me, well, she's saving the family some money by resurfacing all the cabinetry, which of course entails ripping out all the flooring, replacing it, painting the entire house, changing all the appliances and so forth. So I failed to say, anyway, ours is not to question why, ours is but to do or die. She needs the Jesus thing, and apparently it's got no poor. That's patently self-evident by the half amp listed on the nameplate, but it appears as though its brief solace on the healing bench has done it a world of good. Seems to have plenty of power for the girls I go out with. However, let's have her A part, see if there's not some wonky connection or some sort of other failure mode. I recall it's been quite a number of years since last we had a sander on the workbench. Because I don't use sanders that often. I'm more of a beat to fit and paint to match type deal. Sanding seems to be an unnecessary step. Here we have, this is not a prosumer tool. This is a distinctly consumer grade of tool, as indicated by the half clamshell. No markings on the plastic, and it appears as though, oh no, my mistake. There is some glass fiber reinforcing in there. However, structurally, it is quite, well, maybe not. Maybe I spoke too soon. It's rigid enough for what it does. That's what I keep telling the missus. It appears as though she's had a fair few hot suppers for what it is. None of the accoutrements here are broken. Of course, flexures. Blowing off the patina of gypsum and dead tree carcass past, I see no plastic codes for the recycling or to tell us what it is. It does appear to be nylon. Of course, Black & Decker is also, it's owned by Stanley Tools, if I'm not mistaken, who also owns DeWalt and Mac and a whole bunch of other ones. On the basal platen here, this is polycarbonate. GL10 might be internally lubricated, some sort of code for that, or it might be 10% glass and they're using the GL from the glass recycling code. A little 608 skateboard bearing, shielded doubly, and the flexures here are interesting. Polycarbonate, of course, is quite stiff, rigid, and one of these, not long for this life, it has failed, some plastic deformation there. Gone through its elastic deformation and into its plastic, you can see by the lightening of the die. But other than that, it appears like it's usable and intact. So we'll set that aside and have a look at the little flux ring DC brushed motor. Rolled body with integral, well not integral, with mounted flux ring. It is a Johnson motor, as a US company, likely made in China, but normally we see the Mabuchi. This is just another name brand of reputable motor. I don't see a thing wrong with that. It spins nice, all nice and tight, nothing rattling around. The brushes appear, if you'd focus, you fuck. There's still lots of meat on the brushes. You can't see in there, but still lots of meat on the brushes. Which leads me to believe you can see the eccentric cam here and the counterweight. That that it's offset by a couple of millimeters, and that's what gives you that oscillation. Get some electrical contact cleaner. We'll just give her a shot. Point to weight your chum, not your bum. And how often? How many times you got to get shot in the eye before you learn? Just the once. Putting on our troubleshooting dunce caps now, since it doesn't appear to be the motor and it is an intermittent failure, all signs point to the switch, loose connections, that kind of thing. So we'll just very quickly have a look at the connections. Nothing arcing and a sparking there. Take off the little rubber. This is just an off-the-shelf little toggle switch. It might be high resistance through there. We'll just check it, ohm it out. A little overkill here, but what's the point of having the cock and balls of a bull moose if you can't swing them around at least once a year? The Fluke 87. That's a little bit suspect to me. Why would that be? Okay, it must just be my connections here. Another thing we can do is actually pass some current through here and then see what the voltage drop. That's a far better test than just ohming it out, because you really don't know you could have one single solitary gossamer strand of angel cunt hair. the friendly Australian cunt hair, not the vile North American word. But you could have just a strand of conductor and you put any amount of pixies through there and it hots up and the resistance goes through the roof. You're never going to catch that by ohming it out. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to put some current through there, see what the voltage drop is across this switch. Here we got the custom double stack of surfacespecialists.com. The hirsute, handsome young Persian fella recommended these, but far before that I had gone to Tempe, Arizona, somewhere, never mind. And that's where their location is. I went right into the warehouse and picked these up because they were cheap like borscht. And they have yet to blow my face off. So there's that. We will put through, say, 2 amps. Okay, and we have precisely 8 millivolts drop. So it's not the switch. It must have been, well, it still could be a wire, but I would say it must have been the brush has got some shmoo in there and just happened to have knocked them loose. Getting her back together now. A clue. Baby doll worked it too hard. Too many hot suppers. Melted the case or loosened up the case, and now it's rubbing. That at half an amp, that would definitely affect the output torque. We'll go ahead and give it just a little bit of a pruning. Really interesting when you have all these components working in conjunction to make a rigid tool. They're not rigid on their own, but we can see the difference between kind of a home gamer tool. The material here, I guess, isn't thick enough to withstand the temperature of multiple application or extended use, and has actually bent. You see that's got a hog to it there. Proof of the current is in the eating of the pudding. Plug your nose and keep on. Seems to be okay. However, our client is slightly more fastidious than I, so we'll give her a test out. It appears to be for a kink. Yeah, there you have it. Madame DuPont, your treatment is complete for another week. You're ready for your Ladies Auxiliary Bridge Club. Do enjoy a snifter of brandy and a prophylactic cigarette. The vapors abound this time of year. Thanks for watching. Keep your dick in a vice.